Hello and thank you for visiting myopiafocus.org. I'm Jason Higginbotham, optometrist and managing editor. In this video, I had the opportunity to chat with Claire and her daughter Amelia, who was prescribed Ortho-K night lenses more than 7 years ago by Dr. Sandip Doshi, one of Myopia Focus's advisory committee members. Amelia discusses her experience with the night lenses and how they have positively improved her life and ultimately slowed down the progression of her myopia.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
How are you doing?
Good, thank you. I'm Jason.
It's nice to meet you, Jason. I'm Amelia.
Hi Jason,
Hello.
I'm Claire.
Hi, nice to meet you. So I believe he put you on Ortho-K, is that correct?
Is that dream sleep? Sorry.
Yes, sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I don't know the scientific
Sorry.
things, but yeah, I've been on it for 7 years now, I think.
So that's made a big difference to you though, I believe.
Yeah, no, it really has, especially just the level I play basketball at. And I think I started with soft contacts, but I don't know, they would just come, and I see it all the time, even in America, girls just, their contact lenses pop straight out, whereas for me, obviously I've got nothing in, so I'm fine. I can get knocked about, and basketball's quite a physical sport, like, so thankfully it really helped me, especially because I just play it so much.
I think it's probably fair to say that Amelia did wear contact lenses, normal contact lenses, daily disposables prior to being fitted with Ortho-K lenses. Yeah. The primary reason from my point of view to fit Amelia with Ortho-K lenses was really to try to stop the rapid progression in her short-sightedness. We're noticing change, Claire, probably every 6 months, weren't we?
Yeah,
if not, perhaps sometimes even sooner. And it was on a rapid incline. So the purpose of doing the overnight lenses, the orthokeratology with Amelia, was, from my point of view, to try to stabilize the prescription as much as you can and reduce change, or at the very least slow it down. And I think it's fair to say we've achieved that over the years. Amelia's obviously shot up over the years, but her prescriptions changed a little bit, but not much over time. But it's been absolutely amazing seeing Amelia actually develop in her basketball as well, because we've known each other for quite a while, and we used to talk about your interests and how the basketball really did develop. Do you feel, Amelia, that being able to kind of not worry about, and I think you've probably already answered this, but not having to worry about contact lenses potentially falling out during a game, standard lenses makes a difference to your sporting ability?
Said that. Yeah, no, I was just saying that. I mean, I remember a game so vividly, literally this year, and I was playing against one of the top, not anymore, but anyway, I was playing a really good team, but this girl, middle of the game, her contact lens just fell out, and we were all looking on the floor for this contact lens and all that. I remember that being me, and contact lenses coming out and all that, and I thought, I'm so glad I don't have to deal with that, because it really is true. If you get an elbow to the eye, contact lenses are great, but it's still going to shift and all that. And I remember one time, I don't know for what reason it was. I think it was something we were slightly changing my lenses or something, and I had to wear a little kind of lens just to top up my vision. And during the game, even if I blinked funny sometimes, my vision would go blurred, and I was like, I can't really be doing this while I'm trying to, I've got to see. So completely, soft lenses, they're great, but they just weren't the best for playing sport, really.
Yeah, I can understand that as well.
Yeah.
And Sandy is, you're very lucky, obviously, to be using Sandy, but he would have been far more, and is, but far more progressive going back that far. Myopia was much less understood. It still isn't very well understood now, but much less understood by clinicians. So you were lucky that he intervened at a time when the majority of clinicians wouldn't have even known about it, frankly, with the greatest respect. But obviously there's that added positive. Not only has massively reduced the likely final prescription that you'll need, but obviously, as you know, he will have, you'll never really understand it, hopefully, but in 50 years from now, the likelihood of you developing certain eye conditions has also been hugely reduced by that intervention.
No.
And there's another facet to this, which Claire will really have some good input into. One of the things that Claire's always said to me, pretty much since Amelia's been a teenager, is that one of the things she's quite keen on is to consider laser refractive surgery for Amelia. And of course, being able to keep Amelia's prescription at a level where it's still achievable it is also a key factor as well. So, Claire, I mean, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, as Amelia's prescription was sort of getting higher and higher, I was thinking we always thought when she's 21 and her eyes have stopped growing that we would do this, because especially now it's so common to have it done. That actually was a real factor in it, that we can now, I think she's -4, -5 or something. It's an easy prescription. I think rather than very easy. So for me,
it certainly opened up the treatment options for Amelia, didn't it? It's trying to keep avoiding going to -8, for example. It becomes more tricky.
But I learned so much on this journey as well. I mean, I wear contact lenses. Sandip's my optician, but I learned so much about eyes. I mean, I even did give them a go myself. It didn't work for me because I work at night and the hours were too long for me. So I was driving home when it was getting blurry, seeing the motorway. I did give them a go, but it's been brilliant for Amelia. Once we've got them fitted, I've not had to worry about it. She goes off and that's it. I think it's a really good investment.
Amelia's, when you first started, you started off on a system that's used in the UK, which is called iDream.
Oh, iDream!
Yep.
Yeah,
however, as your short-sightedness progressed, what we weren't able to do was to control your short-sightedness progression more, and what we needed was a more customized lens. So what you're in at the moment is called a wave design, which Jason will know quite well.
Yeah, that's what I used to do in 1999, 2000.
And my mode of operation now has been basically to fit every single child that I see in these customized lenses now, because I can alter pretty much any and every parameter on it, whereas iDream's what are called system lenses, which are kind of for want of a better word, and this is probably a very poor description, they're kind of off the shelf, and they correct the short-sightedness but don't necessarily help with controlling progression.
Okay. Lots of people, when I tell them about what Amelia's doing, they've never heard of this.
Some people
still think, and I do the whole explanation thing and I get more and more elaborate, but as I try and explain it. But it still seems rare that people know about it, and they're sports people. I don't know. We haven't met anybody else that's doing it. And we know a lot of sports kids and mums, and some of them I've sent to Sandip, or I've mentioned it to them to look into it.
Well, but no, it's great to get that positive side, as Sandip quite rightly says, because my website, Myopia Focus, we obviously want to get the message across about myopia and the risks, and it can be a little bit too, frankly, doom and gloom. But there are some major issues long term as complications of myopia. But on the flip side, Ortho-K is not only very I started doing Ortho-K in 1999, but it was only purely to treat the myopia in fairly small, as in the prescription, I should say, not to slow myopia, but the type of effect that it has on the cornea. We later have realized that it can slow down myopia, and now there are specific designs of lenses that improve that even more. But that's the positive thing. It's the fact that it's giving you freedom from glasses and contact lenses, and there's the element that if it gets kids outside and doing healthy things, there's a double whammy, because that's one of the ways to slow the progression of myopia, is to get kids outside.
Yeah, definitely.
But if it takes not having to have glasses and contact lenses before they'll do that, then there's the extra advantage and as well. But of course, there's the physical and mental health aspect of doing sport and activities and getting outside and getting off smartphones.
Are you aiming a lot of this towards younger children, or can someone my age, real middle age, get into this scheme? I mean, how does it work? Because do eyes still worsen, I guess? Are you aiming for?
So I've got a couple of individuals who are kind of in their late 20s, early 30s now, who I'm using myopia control to see if we can stop them progressing, because they have continued to progress. Now, it will be what's called off-label, because these things are typically tested on kids So, for example, myopia control contact lenses, orthokeratology, and there are spectacle lenses do the same, but they're typically tested on children and, in inverted commas, licensed for use on children. But there's no reasons not to try it in an adult that is progressing.
Absolutely.
Something's better than nothing. And if it works, brilliant. If it doesn't work, well, at least you've tried.
Right, yeah, absolutely. I mean, are you trying ultimately to get this to be made more available to children? I mean, is it taking the cost out, really?
I have a petition linked to the website to change the way that children's eye care is funded in the UK, because it would not, does not, and cannot cover the costs of proper myopia management, but also things like Ortho-K. And I would not want, and although it's probably already happening, a situation where some children, through no fault of their own, can't get access to frankly, good myopia management. And because of that, may end up quite highly myopic in their adult years, with a much, much higher risk in future life that they will develop myopia-related secondary eye conditions. And for example, although there's a higher genetic predisposition in Japan, myopia-related eye conditions are now the leading cause of new blindness registrations. Now, that's a worst case scenario in Japan, but it's still happening around the world, and it's a big issue. It really is. And
I mean, the whole world is really on an exponential increase in short-sightedness.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of time before we get to those levels as well.
Oh, it is. And it's got to be affordable, and the public need to know. And for me, it's one of the most threatening healthcare issues, not just eye care issues, but healthcare issues that this government faces. I'm bound to say it as an optometrist, I guess. But really, the cost of sight impairment is huge from a human perspective.
Yes.
But also from an economic perspective as well. And there's been plenty of studies on that's for sure.
If practitioners like us can get hold of kids when they're -1, for example, and we instigate some form of myopia management, and we can try and keep that progression to a minimum, or with any luck, hopefully stop it progressing, with a lot of luck, in fact, then, you can cope at -1. You can cope without your glasses, you can cope without your contact lenses, but it's the management of that at that stage that's crucial, rather than waiting until that kid becomes -3, for example, and therefore you can't cope visually.
And that's another thing with the website, is to get them checked at a very, very early age. And another thing that is important with what we call myopia management is measuring the prescription can be a little bit of a red herring. And so there are devices, optical devices, totally non-contact, that can measure the length of the eyeball from front to back, because it's that as the eye grows, that causes the damage. And they call it axial myopia, and measuring the axial length is important. And trying to get kids screened at preschool age really would be perfect. And that's one of the things on the on the petition.
Offer, shouldn't it? That should be on offer.
Of course, there aren't. Well, it doesn't happen in most areas that kids get checked at school anymore. So, for example, when kids go for their MMR vaccine, that kind of thing, maybe they should be doing some kind of visual screening. Easier said than done and asked for, obviously.
That doesn't happen so much these days, does it? Unfortunately, no, the vision screening, which was quite rudimentary to begin with, isn't happening anymore. So the more we can get information out there, from our point of view, the better. And with any luck, change opinion and get tests like that done at preschool age.
Right, yeah, absolutely. I think it's been brilliant. I can't thank you enough for. It was quite sort of so modern to think about it when we first got used to it. I mean, sometimes they were a bit sort of difficult to get in, but once you got the swing of it, we've never looked back with it. So it's been really good.
And it's it's been amazing really seeing the positive side of it as well from my perspective.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
It was great to meet Amelia and Claire. As a professional, it was interesting to hear about their journey with Ortho-K, and as a story, I think it is a great demonstration of how much of a difference myopia management can make. In the case of Amelia, enabling her to reach the highest levels of a sport she clearly loves